The difference to me between visibility and discoverability is it seems like visibility, some people have this, they either feel like they have to be out there all the time or like people are screaming, so to speak. It's like, you're trying to just push yourself out there all the time. Don't think influencer on TikTok or Instagram kind of thing, but it's like you've got to be on all the time. You've got to be out there and you're pushing, pushing, pushing. Discoverability is where you can create content that is relevancy based content where people can find you when they search for you. They're searching for that specific topic to help them solve a problem.
Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am so excited to be here with you today because today I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Joyce Layman about visibility and discoverability and what the differences are in your business, what you need to be doing to be visible and discoverable. Now, Joyce is a phenomenal human. I literally loved this chat. We ended up chatting for ages after the interview. She is just such a great energy and a great human to be around. But on top of that, she knows her stuff. Now, Joyce is actually an all-in-one visibility and business coach. She's also an author and a TEDx speaker, and she was just the absolute right person to talk to because the stuff that she was saying were just little gold mines of information. One strategy that she brought up that I've never even heard of before that made me super excited was GIFs or GIFs, however you want to pronounce it. But even just hearing about her application with that and how she has over 4 million people who see her GIFs or GIFs, that's huge visibility. Like that's 4 million people looking at her and knowing that she exists. So even just that one thing that we talked about is gonna create results in your life. And then in the rest of the interview, we talked about other things, the difference between visibility and discoverability, things you can do to be visible, the sort of content that creates visibility, the sort of content that creates discoverability. So this interview is definitely one to have a notebook and a pen handy. And even we show you live how to do a couple of things that she does. We show you live how to make a GIF. And to me, having that experience of being able to just sit over her shoulder and watch as she does something that has added so much to her in her discoverability, having 4 million people following her, seeing how she does that process, that right there is amazing, guys. So this is definitely an interview not to be missed, and I really, really hope you guys enjoy it. Like, she's just a pleasure to be around, and it's a fun interview. So get comfortable, get a pen and paper, and I can't wait for you to watch this one. Hello and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I'm so excited to be here today with Joyce Layman, who's a visibility strategist. And today we're going to be having an amazing conversation about visibility and also discoverability. So thank you so much for being here today, Joyce. How are you?
I'm thrilled. I'm excited to be here and the sun is coming out. We just had a major storm roll through, so the timing couldn't be better.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I'm so excited to jump into this topic today. But I wanted to start by asking the very first question of what does creating a life you love look like to you?
Well, I think so many online business owners, they get into the business, they've got this great idea what they have in mind, and then they start getting overwhelmed with the content that you have to create, all the things that you have to do in your business. And I've noticed a lot of posts, I don't know about you lately, but about people getting burned out. In fact, several months ago, I saw a multi-seven-figure business owner who literally shut her business down and went on sabbatical because it got to that point. So for me, I want to be able to have a business that I've got more freedom. I am turning 59 in September. My significant other is 66, and he's actually retiring in the start of retiring after a successful 40 years with Edward Jones. He's the #1 guy in the region. And so the very first date that we had, keep in mind, we knew each other as friends for about 9 months through racing cars, which is my hobby, by the way. And the very first thing that Mark asked me is like, what's your 5-year plan? And I think when it comes back to creating a business and life that you love, it's like, how do you fit everything that you want so you have somewhat of a balance? Is life ever going to be in balance? I don't know about that. I really don't know. And will shit hit the fan occasionally? Yes. I lost a brother, a healthy brother, very unexpectedly right before the pandemic started, and then had to shift my business at the start of the pandemic at the same time. So, and I hope I can swear on your
Yes, yes, you're fine. You're fine.
that. But it's like within all of this, especially when we're the type of entrepreneurs that we understand meditation, mindfulness, why it's so important to take care of our bodies. I've got crystals up in my room. We've got woods that back up to our house, and you go walk, and it's like when you're trying to do all these things and then all the stuff goes wrong, it's like, how do you come back where you're not burning yourself out? You get to serve the clients that you love also. It doesn't help. You can have a 6-figure, 7-figure business, but if you're working with people you hate, or they don't have, I shouldn't say hate, they don't have that vibe, you don't want to do that either. So it's finding that fit of the hours that you want, plus your family, your friend time, your you time, which is so important, but still everybody has a different level of income that they want to create as well. Everybody also wants to have a different amount of, like, I'm shifting my business right now because I'm thinking in 2 years, I want to be on that point where I can easily run this from a laptop and not have to be online all the time. So for anybody that's online all the time, it's like, what do you do so you get to travel and you get to do all the things that you want? I know that was a pretty long answer, but I think it's helpful to have some of the background information. It's different if you're 40 or if you're 30, or maybe if you're in your 20s and you're just starting out.
Yeah, no, I love that. I totally love that. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because I know who that 7-figure business owner that you're talking about is. And the day she did it, I was heartbroken for her because she's phenomenal. And I was like,
Yeah.
no. And like, she's young. I don't even think
Yes.
she's 30 yet. And
Yeah.
yeah, like, so I'm glad you mentioned that because it is about finding that balance and not burning out, like having something that you can build and sustain and build a legacy. So, yeah, I really love that answer. And I love that you went into so much detail with sharing all of that. So thank you. So we are here today to talk about visibility and discoverability. Are you able to just share with everyone a little bit about that in itself?
The difference to me between visibility and discoverability is it seems like visibility, some people have this, they either feel like they have to be out there all the time, or like people are screaming, so to speak. It's like, you're trying to just push yourself out there all the time. Don't think influencer on TikTok or Instagram kind of thing, but it's like you've got to be on all the time. You've got to be out there and you're pushing, pushing, pushing. Discoverability is where you can create content that is relevancy based content where people can find you when they search for you. They're searching for that specific topic to help them solve a problem. So depending on, discoverability content, it could be somebody's more in the problem aware stage. They recognize there's something they want to solve or something they want to do. So they go to YouTube and they start searching and they're like, how do I fix this? Or they look in their Facebook feed and the reticular activating system kicks in and they're like, oh, there's that thing now that they recognize because it is important to them at that time. So if you feel like all you're doing is posting content and you're shouting and all these other people are out there at the same time and you're not being heard, then that's where having that that combination of that recency and relevancy type content. So yes, you do put yourself out there. You have that ability to attract your ideal clients by that fresh content, that shorter lifespan content like Instagram, Facebook, whether it's TikTok, it's those channels that you're on, but yet you're also making sure that you're discoverable. And we talked about this a little bit before. It's the reason why I reached out. Gifts are one of the most amazing ways that you can stand out with your brand, and you can also be discoverable in places that you may not have thought of before.
I literally love this and I'm dying to talk about this. Literally dying to talk about this. Can you share this with people? Because I think we're all a little bit like, what do you mean this is actually something that can be a strategy? Like,
So I was challenged over a year ago by a coach that I was working with that I needed to create gifts because it's one of the things that she does as far as creating that authentic connection. So if you think about it, everybody's used gifts. And we also had the conversation, is it GIF or GIF? The guy who invented them said GIF, but I say GIF. So it's whatever you want to do. But we've all used gifts, whether you're texting a friend, you're messaging somebody on Facebook, you're posting a comment, in response to what something is posted, we've all used gifts. But what most people don't consider is, why wouldn't you create gifts of yourself, which increases brand awareness about you? They can be fun, they can be serious, they can be used for any different thing, and you can actually have your own channel. I use Giphy. There's different GIF channels that are out there, but I use Giphy as mine. And as of today, and it goes up every single day, I have 415.5 million views on my Giphy channel.
see, that's crazy, insane visibility. And
And the funny thing with that, so my coach challenged me to do it. So I created the 5 gifts, which if you want a branded channel, so there's a difference in being verified on Giphy. I still do not have a verified channel on Giphy, but I am a brand channel. It's very different than you can pay to get verified on Instagram or Facebook. You cannot do that on Giphy. They make the decision. Facebook owns Giphy, by the way. So I do have a branded channel, and to do that, you have to create 5 unique gifts of you. So it goes back to, for those of you that just said, oh my God, Joyce, I don't want to put my face out there. The cool thing is you get to create them on your phone. You're not going live. But when people get that connection, they get to see your face. You can have these responses. Maybe it's something you say all the time and you put that up there. Then it gives people, think human to human connection, fun, authentic content in these little sound bites. We respond to images 60,000 times faster than text. GIFs are a great way that it's an image. Yes, you can put words on it, but it's a great way to get somebody's attention and increase engagement. So I did the 5 gifts. And then one Saturday, purely, I'm sitting here going, I don't know this. I mean, I don't think this is going to work. Who uses GIFs, right? I did it because I was challenged to. And then I created a GIF of my cat, Gabby, and she has this tendency, she likes to sit up on her hind legs. So I went into Giphy and I saw that Happy Saturday was trending and I posted it. Gabby's the one that actually went viral. And in 4 weeks, she had 35 million views. So in full transparency, Gabby is responsible for about 400 million views on my channel. But because of Gabby, then we realized it's like, there's something to this. So now I have 105 gifts, I think, that I've posted. Most of them are me, but I see increased drive to my website because you can put your source URL, which is your website, on every single gift that you have out there. So anytime somebody comes in and looks at it, they see my website, they see that I'm a visibility coach, they see all my social media platforms. So if you want to talk about discoverability in ways that people would never find, if they do a search on Facebook for whatever my gifts are tagged with, I have the ability to show up.
yeah.
If they're searching on the Giphy app to send a text, I have the ability. That's the cool thing about Giphy, and that's the discoverability piece,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I literally love that. And also love that it's connected to Facebook and Instagram, because even though it's a separate thing, it's nice to know that it's still connected. But if I
Yes.
was someone who's at home and they're like, all right, well, we've got all of these things now, we've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things, we've got threads, we've got this, we've got that. Is Giphy, is that something that's going to feel quite overwhelming? You said you've got just over 100 videos. Does it take long to curate that sort of content? Because that's roughly one every 3 days for a year. Would people be freaking out about how much time they need to put into this to grow their audience?
It takes about 60 seconds to make one.
That is amazing.
60, literally 60 seconds. I actually have Air Server pulled up that if you want me to show you how to do it, I can show you how to do it.
Oh my gosh, can we do that? Oh, that would be
Yes.
so fun. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
All right. So just to show you how easy this is, it is so easy. So can you see?
Yes, yep.
You can see that on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So when you go, and I actually created, it was so funny because I've been teaching this to my clients, and then I created a $9 course on how to gift yourself.
Yeah.
And I introduced it in a recent bundle. And the very first week, I had over 354 people get this. Because everybody I've talked to, they're like, I've heard of it. I've never done it. How do you do it? Show me how. So when you go into Giphy, you just click in the lower right-hand corner and you have the chance to create a GIF or a sticker. So Simone, I want you to help me figure out what I'm going to create. So I'm going to pull up new GIF and you're going to see, and I'm going to have to look here instead of there or else it's not going to make sense.
That's so cute.
So with this, then what happens is if I click on GIF, then it's going to show. If I click on sticker, it takes the background out automatically because GIFs and stickers are used differently. So we'll just do a GIF and we'll do it like this. What happens is you press the button. Now tell me something that I need to say. Give me a prompt.
Let's do something cute like hashtag interview life or something, because that's what we're doing. We're doing an interview. So
Okay. Hashtag interview live. And what happens is you keep your finger on the button. And now the other thing I'm going to say is, yes, I'm shiny. I can see that I'm shiny. I don't care. Now in the lower, then what you do is you just edit it. That's all I have to do. I click continue. Now I have the choice at the bottom. I can add text and put hashtag. And then if you want, you can see at the bottom, you can change this into different types of text. So you can do anything like that, or you can just go back to this. You can go back to caption. And then if you click done, the next thing that you do is just move that where you want it. Then up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see that I can turn this into different sizes. And then I can just, so say that I want to crop it where I am, makes sense?
yep.
Or if I want to keep it the whole way, then it's just a matter of that. Then I click continue, I upload. And then what happens is if I go on here, then you can upload to Giphy and then it's going to ask you for tags. So it automatically pulled the word interview because I used that as a, within the text on here. So this is where when you think of all of the things that you would put, so it could be hashtag, it could be interview, it could be podcast, it could be going live. You put in all the words that relate to that. I also put my name and I put business coach, visibility coach. So think in your niche, if you're speaking to your audience, how would people find you, or what would the words be that relate to you and then relate to the gift? Does that make sense?
Yes, yep.
So for the sake of this, I'm not going to add all the tags here. I can go back into the platform after the fact and edit the tags. I will also add my website. So all I do is upload it and we'll give it just a minute and it's probably going to pop up. So it says it's uploading, and that's where I said this literally, once you start doing it, it'll take you a minute.
This is so cute.
See how easy that was?
Yes. So
Hmm.
cute.
So how you would use this if you were going like this one where I waved, I was actually doing a live demo and I started laughing and I'm like, oh, we're just going to use it anyway. So that's where if you look at short weeks, some of these I have taken like the My Mistake that I actually took out of a video that I was recording my weekly live show and just cropped it and turned it into a GIF. So there are so many things that you can do. Let me scroll down so you can see where Gabby is. There's game day.
Ah,
I will show you the infamous Gabby GIF. Oh, the other thing, so that's interesting. The 4th of July that you see, I recorded that last year. This year it got 2 million views like that. It
wow.
hadn't really done anything last year. This year it got 2 million views just within a day. Crazy, right?
Yes.
So there is the infamous Gabby GIF that has gone viral. My girl, as you can see at the bottom, she's got 404 million, I think 404 million views.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
So, but you cannot start there. You have to upload 5 GIFs of you. There's a
Yeah.
very specific tag strategy that I have. There's a viral tag strategy that I show you how you can find what potentially might go viral. But then it's a matter of how you have that strategy that you get into what works for your business.
Yeah.
So if you see like you have a great week, you'll see results, keep doing that. These are all from live videos that I've done that I just took that existing content and turned them into GIFs.
Yeah.
So this is where it's super easy. You can see it took what, 2 minutes to
Mhm.
create, and that's asking you doing all of the things. But
Yes.
yeah, it's so easy to do. Then the other thing is if you go over here, you can look, yeah, it was at 415.5 million last night. It's 415.6 million today. But when somebody goes into my actual channel, they see that's my uploads. It's got my value statement. It has all the links to my social media, including my website, so they can go in and find me. So it goes back to, this is a very easy thing. This is very different than something that you're going to do on, I'm going to pop back over here. So
Yeah.
this is something very different than what you're going to do on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. So short form video, absolutely. I believe short form video is the way to go. In fact, on my Instagram, I switched over to a 9 grid. I have a static 9 grid that is on my Instagram profile. I only post short form content.
Yeah.
I changed my strategy several months ago because I want more relevancy type content. So my YouTube channel, short form content is what drives most of the traffic to my longer form videos. That same content I can use on Instagram, I can put on Pinterest, I can use it on Facebook. So if you're thinking about, well, what do you do for content? First off, where are your clients spending time? That's the first
Yeah.
question you've got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
If it's more professional, they're probably going to be on LinkedIn. Using video on LinkedIn is going to help you to stand out above everybody else because a lot of people don't want to use video. So how can you use short form video or go live on LinkedIn to increase your viewing options? Make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
But if you're posting, yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that content lasts 24 to 48 hours max.
Yeah.
So if you're getting into burnout, then consider relevancy based like YouTube and create a library of content.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I'd also love to just ask as well, when you're talking about LinkedIn, are you putting the same things on LinkedIn that you would be putting on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok? Are you putting the same content on all the channels that they're relevant to? Or are you creating new content for LinkedIn because it is that little bit more businessy and serious?
Well, to me, I used to use LinkedIn all the time because when I started my business back in 2013, my clients were companies, tended to be small to mid-sized companies. I worked with CEOs and teams. I did training. Part of it was performance mindset, and it was also strategic networking, right? There's always the introverts who don't want to do it. I'm an ambivert, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where LinkedIn was my primary platform and I didn't really do a lot on the other platforms. Now my audience has shifted. So I have a Facebook presence. By the way, if you do not have your personal Facebook set up as a digital creator in professional mode, you need to do that. That will dramatically increase your visibility doing that. So what I focus on is my primary Facebook. I use Instagram. I don't really do anything on TikTok. I got onto Threads. I just don't have time, right? To me,
Yeah.
it's like and I got off of Twitter eons ago, even though at the very beginning I had built and I had about 4,000 followers on Twitter. To me, that's a time suck. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn now, I do very little. Do I have a robust LinkedIn profile? Absolutely. But it's not my primary focus because that's
Yeah.
not where my clients tend to spend
Yeah.
time, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love that answer. I love that because I think a lot of the time we do think we need to jump onto all of these things. And so that's why I'm like, are you jumping? Where are you? Are you everywhere? How are you doing this?
No, 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 no. But say, for example, like I have a client right now. She's she's a goals coach, right? So she focuses, and it's more on that mindset. She's in a corporate space. She's moving over and transitioning her business out because she's got those content.
Mm.
Lord, I think I need more coffee because she has the contacts on the corporate side. LinkedIn would be a place to start. However, she primarily markets herself on Instagram and she hates Facebook. She just doesn't use it personally, so she doesn't want to be there. So that's where, depending on what you put out, you could use the same piece of content on both platforms. You just have to be a little bit more strategic about it.
Mm.
So, and that also gets into, it's like, as you're creating content, is it focused on all stages of awareness where somebody's at?
Yeah.
You want to have that content for unaware people. They don't know they have a problem. They're not searching for anything, but they said, oh my gosh, that's a great post, or that's a great reel, or that's a great pin. I need to follow them. That's just super cool stuff.
Yeah.
Then it gets into that more problem aware. And then they start to see that you're the expert, but there's also the type of content that you squash objections with it. And that's what I do on my YouTube channel. Then it helps to take them down that buyer's journey. So it's really getting specific on your content strategy. I just believe less is more. And by the way, channels, you should be building your email list. If you're not, you're so missing out.
Yes. Yeah. I love this. Feel like email is definitely the stable. Like that's the one that we've always had to build. We've always got to keep building. That's definitely the stable one that never changes. But I love that you're saying along the lines of, if LinkedIn isn't your thing, then that's fine. You don't have to do that one. Like, do the things that where your marketer at and that you enjoy. Like that client, she doesn't use Facebook, so why would she use it in her business? So I love that you're even saying tailor it to you, but do keep your visibility in mind and your longevity of content. Keep all of that sort of stuff in mind when you are creating that strategy.
Absolutely. And in fact, over on Facebook, I've got a private group of about 1,000 members. I'm shutting it down.
Yeah.
I've said, I'm done. I now have I have a pop-up group that I'm doing a workshop actually next week, a visibility, my smaller group with my paid members, because I got tired of trying to create content in all of these places.
Mm.
So if you're getting in that overwhelmed, going back to how do you do what you love, right, without getting overwhelmed in the process, then figure out what's actually working. Facebook groups, at one time, your reach was so much more, and then they changed it. Damn algorithms, they changed it. So to me, I've seen that drop back. I get more visibility on my personal Facebook posts than I do in my private group.
Yeah.
So that's why you just have to kind of think about what you're pushing out. But then it goes back to good content strategy. Make sure the content's relative, or it relates to your target audience,
Yeah.
right? What they need to see. If there's hashtags included, it's like, what are they going to be searching for? So you still have to be thinking through all that stuff. And then one of the things that I see all the time, it's like on Instagram, you can't put links in your long form, within the post. They can't click on it.
Yeah.
Or people have these links up above that are this long. It's like, go get a branded URL and make it short, make it easy and memorable. So there's just little things that you can do. But email, going back, because I didn't add into that, the clients that I work with, when I start working with them, they don't want to use, they haven't been using email. They use it to promote something, but they don't use it any other time. If you lose access to any of your social channels, you are up a creek. So building your email list is so important to do. And I don't know about you, Simone, but I use AI. In fact, it's a part of my incubator program. I teach clients how to create your brand avatars and how to create content and it's like all the things using it. But that makes it so much easier if you're perplexed and you're going, I don't know how to craft an email. AI can help you do it with the right prompts. It can help spark creativity. It can do all of that and simplify that process so you have more time to build relationships, because that's what we need to do.
Yeah, I definitely feel like AI has definitely helped take like, I don't know, maybe 60 to 80% of the hard work out if you can get those prompts going. Like if you can get everything moving the way it needs to be, it takes a lot of that hard. Like it doesn't completely remove you, but it definitely helps a lot. And especially as we're saying, when you are trying to get out there and be visible and you're like, all right, where's the best use of my time? So I love that. I totally love that. And so when you're like working with your clients, do you have a set strategy around how often you get them to do a GIF, and how often you get them to do an Instagram post, and the types of posts, and how are people working with the content that's around 24 hours visibility, and then the content that's working longer term? Like, is there some sort of sweet spot number of how many posts should be 24-hour posts and how many posts should be long? I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but do you know what I'm
No,
saying?
and that is a great question, because I get asked that a lot. So the content strategy that I teach is create one long form piece of content a week. If you don't want to go live, do a blog post. By the way, Google SEO, it's so important that you do blogs and you get them on your site. That one piece of content you can literally repurpose into social posts, reels, TikTok scripts in minutes using AI. Because the point is, going back to, where is somebody in that stage of awareness? If they're completely unaware, they see a post that they love on whatever platform you're using, and then you happen to mention, for more, you can go here. Well, first off, you're driving them to your website. Not everybody wants to read blog content all at once. In fact, I've written 2 books and I do not like writing. Well, I take that back. I didn't like writing. Chat GPT, I was using AI a year and a half ago with Jasper, when it was actually called Jarvis at the very beginning, and then have now moved into other things. But that one piece of content, part of that blog becomes an email to your list. Social posts, you can do multiple things with that one thing. You can also drive people to different channels. So what you have to keep in mind, it goes back to, where your clients spending time. If they're predominantly on Instagram and you're trying to drive them to Facebook, probably not going to have great success doing that. But if you have a great piece of content on Instagram and you've developed a very juicy lead magnet, and they go, oh, I want to learn more, and they go get on your email list, and then you can drip content out, giving them value, giving them tips, and then saying, hey, for more, go read this blog post. Then when they're ready, then they can go get more information about you. So because I've been posting blogs consistently on my site, then I've now have people reaching out to me. I've had people saying, would you be an affiliate for this? We want to have you in our summit. It's like people reach out to me now because I got over that mental hurdle of, I don't want to do this. But my extra step in my content strategy is, I was going live weekly. I was taking that live and turning that into a blog post. It was my show notes. And then I was repurposing all of that.
Yeah.
I have a Google spreadsheet, which is now turned into a Notion template. In fact, my guy has just he's helping me transition all that content. I have content I created a year and a half ago that I have video clips that I can now repurpose. So that's part of that. If you think through it, when you use video, then you can very easily repurpose things without having to create new content. But you've got to know, what category does it fall into? So that means your pillars. So of your program that you have, like I've got brand, revenue, marketing, and systems.
Yeah.
So I look at what pillar does that fall under in my framework. Some people say pillar, some people say, there's lots of different ways to say the same thing. So it's like, where is that? What belief are we working with? So it is a why me, why this, why now, why you, why not? And so I know of that, then where I'm missing content that I need to create, or that worked really well. So let's build on more of that type of content. So having that versus just posting it on Instagram and it goes out and it goes out and you don't have it stored somewhere, then that's what I really get with my clients about. It's like, have this one piece of content where I can easily go back to a spreadsheet. Now it's a Notion template and go, that's the title. It's that particular piece of my framework. And it's focusing on that belief, and let's go repurpose that. So then it just simplifies everything.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes. And I totally love that as well, because you're saying, you film the video and then you just use the show notes as the blog post. Or you can cut that one video. I mean, might be a 20-minute video. You can cut that into maybe 5 1-minute clips that you can repurpose over the next 12 months. You don't even need to use them all that week. You can just keep using them, keep sending them back. And that's what I really love about repurposing content. And that's where I feel like a lot of people are like missing something that makes their life easier. But I love that you're saying you also use AI to do a lot of that as well.
Yes. And speaking of AI, one of my favorite tools is called Repurpose IO. So say, for example, you've been posting all of your content on Instagram, or maybe you've been putting everything on TikTok, and you need to get the TikToks and put them on another platform. But then if you download them, you have to go to a certain, I don't know, there's so many different apps. So you have to download it to get rid of the watermark. And it's like this whole process. There is a platform called Repurpose IO, and I'll make sure you have this in the show notes. So what it does is you set up a workflow. So easy. I actually have reels to reels. I have reels to YouTube shorts. I can do reels to TikTok, reels to Pinterest. It pulls the content off of Instagram. It pulls the watermarks off of Instagram. And I can literally go pull it up, whatever content you want underneath it. Then I just click a button and I can either schedule it or upload it right then.
Amazing.
It is the easiest thing ever. And if you have longer form content, VidYO is an AI platform that you take that longer form video and it automatically pulls what can be used as reels or TikToks or YouTube shorts. So those are two things that, especially if you're sitting here going, I am tech challenged and I can't do this, I promise Repurpose IO is the easiest thing ever to set up a workflow and do. It also, I'm going back to reels and I'm posting content that I created 2 years ago as reels. People don't know. That's the other thing. The odds, you're going to get a fraction of people that are going to see a post that pops up in their feed. So do they remember it? Probably not. And then you just repurpose it again. So that's typically the place to start, is look at what you've already done, what's performing really, really well, and build off that content, or use a platform like Repurpose IO and just repurpose it. And then I can go schedule YouTube shorts for the next 3 weeks with a click of a button. So easy.
So good. That is so, so good. I feel like these are pro tips, guys. You guys got to pay attention to this. So just in terms of workflow then, if you were to sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to make my content for this week, would you just sit down in, I don't know, you'd pick a time, say maybe you want to do it 12 o'clock Monday, you'd record your long form content, and then the rest of the afternoon, you just transform that content into all of the other contents? Or do you outsource that to a team? Like, what I'm kind of getting at here, has AI taken out the team and you do it yourself? Or would you still send it to a team to do all that sort of stuff?
So for those of you who are doing everything yourself and you literally don't have a budget, or you have a tiny budget, the good news is you can do this yourself, and it's so simple. Canva even has a way that you can bulk upload content and you can have things made literally in a snap. You just have to set up the the foundations to do that, if that makes sense. So it's using that. Typically what I do is I create my one script and then I go through the repurposing part. And then I like to batch. So today, as an example, I'm like, all right, we're going to do the hair. We're going to do the makeup. You know, we office out of our houses, but I have appointments out the rest of the week. So I want today to be anything that I'm doing on video. That's going to happen today. It just simplifies the process. So that's where, but if it's a blog, you can post that anytime. That doesn't matter. So it's simply going out to, you've got to figure out how much time you want to spend on social. I'm not going to tell you to post 7 days a week. I'm going to tell you if you post a minimum of 3 days a week, you can't post once a week on a recency platform and think it's going to work. It just, you can't do that. Yeah. If you're an influencer and you've built a massive audience, maybe, but typically what I would recommend is write the blog post. Here's your nudge to write the blog post. You can literally do it in 10 to 15 minutes with ChatGPT. Then go ahead and take that, get that posted, pull your email out. I would recommend you email your list at least once a week because you want to make sure you're not always selling something. I try to email my list 2 to 3 times a week. I am on lists. I'm sure you are too, Simone, that it's like you get stuff every single day and it's like, that is too much. It is overwhelming, but you cannot just reach out to your list when you're trying to sell something. So come up with those, I love story-based emails. I love quick tip emails, but then here's the drive back to the blog post. If you want more information or, oh, by the way, I created this quick reel on this, go here to look kind of thing. So then you're driving. So it's one long form and then send the email, send 2 emails, but you got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So but then use that and say, okay, I'm going to post 3 times on Instagram. So once you have that, then you could very easily take and put that on another platform. Yeah. But you've got to pick at least one platform. And then if it's going to be relevancy based, then pick your blog or YouTube.
Yes.
So if you're just starting out, go with blog. By the way, you can turn those blogs into scripts. You know, there's always a way that you can repurpose and reuse that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love all of this. I feel like this is the best conversation just for helping people to get that understanding of like, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just, you can start somewhere, you can make it fun, like it doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. And as you said, you batch it. I do the same thing. I'm like, the day that hair and makeup happens, that's the day that the videos are happening.
Yeah. And it's just it's so easy to do. And the other thing, this social media changes all the time. So the funny thing, like Instagram reels were the thing to do. And then they came out and made an announcement that carousels were the thing to go. And they're now promoting static posts more. I did that literally. I uploaded my 9 grid and then they made that announcement. I'm like, I don't care. I'm sticking to my strategy. Why? Yeah. YouTube is pushing short form content. So I have an increased chance, and that's my relevancy based. That's where it's my library of content that anybody can access. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So instead of, you see this and you're like, oh, they're changing strategies. They're changing strategies. I'm like, no, I'm sticking to this. Instead of going live, because I'm closing my big Facebook group down, I'm creating shorter content now. That's what we're getting ready to do, is create shorter content on YouTube. So 8 to 12-minute videos max. I will still bulk do those. In fact, I've got a camera, I've got a teleprompter. I want to be able to get through it as quickly as possible. I'm going to use the Rachel Peterson approach and not do all of the animate, not do all the things. I mean, she's just a talking head video with a simple intro, outro. That's great. Yeah. You don't have to be fancy. You just have to have great content. And then Noah goes back to YouTube is a different strategy. The title is everything. The keywords you use are everything. There's vidIQ and there's TubeBuddy that can help you. I saw somebody on Facebook, they're like, I just created a YouTube channel. It's like, your content will never be seen. It will never be seen unless you go through the steps. So that being said, when you choose a platform, understand the platform that you're on and what works. Pinterest is an entirely different animal. Entirely different animal. They have their own search engine. So your bio on Pinterest is different. Your boards on Pinterest are different than what's on YouTube, than what's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed. Pick one. All you got to do is pick one platform.
I totally agree.
Pick one platform, use email, blog, email, that's it. Keep it simple, simple, simple. Because Simone, I'm sure because if you've been in business longer, you're doing things and I just have a flow, but it's like, keep it simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd love to
And then, go ahead.
Just do a quick digress into how important having a strategy is and how long you should follow that strategy before you change. Because a lot of people are like, do I have a strategy? How long? What if it doesn't work? How do I know it's not working?
3 months. 3 months. I actually had a phone call with a woman. It's been several months ago. And she's like, yeah, I posted 9 times on Instagram and it didn't work. Oh, that's not how this works. You've got to give anything 3 months consistently. And that doesn't mean you can post once a week. And it doesn't work that way. I say 3 months and then you tweak and adjust and tweak and adjust. I use Metricool to look at my analytics. So if you don't want to go into individual platforms, I go into Metricool. So I know who's looking, what's working, what piece of content. And then it's also easy to see, well, I sent out this email, which drove a bunch of people here. So there's ways that you can see things. And then when it comes to gifts, sprinkle in the gifts.
Yeah.
Sit down and batch create 5 gifts and put them up. And by the way, so now on Facebook, if you've got somebody and they put a post out, instead of just commenting, comment with a GIF of you with your reaction instead. Or maybe you have a Facebook group or even on your business page, like check this out, simple little things like that, where you can put that, those gifts of you, then people start to see you versus it's a static post. It's going to help as well.
It's just giving your personality. So I literally love that. Sharing your personality and doing all that. And this leads to a whole nother strategy, which we won't go into today, but I love this. I totally, totally love this. And I do just want to ask one more quick question that relates to you talking about Metricool. Do you find that because are you posting through Metricool as well?
I do not post through Metricool. What I do, because mine is very specific. So right now, the content that I'm focusing on, I'm using Repurpose.io to repurpose existing content to get it out for short form content. I post on my personal Facebook page. So that's something that I do, but otherwise I'm in this. I went back through my Excel spreadsheet as we're moving it over to Notion going, oh my God, there's a ton of shorter form videos, like 3-minute videos in here. Never got posted to YouTube. I'm not creating new things. I'm going back to what I've already got that didn't make it in the queue. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Which means those are going to take a little bit. I've got to sit down, get the title, get the description, and then I'll have that scheduled to get those out. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and batch those at one time. So, but otherwise, a scheduling platform is great to use if you want to start somewhere so you know what your strategy is and where you're posting and the times you're going to be doing it. It's always a good thing.
Because do you find though, using a scheduling platform, that the visibility drops because you're scheduling outside of the app?
See, that's the other thing that, there's always an opinion on something. So to me, well, and I've also seen as an example, it's like if you record a reel inside the Reels app versus you're uploading it somewhere else, or you're creating it on your video and uploading it, it's different. It's different. It's the other thing. Reels, I used to get thousands of views on my Reels. It's dropped. It's dropped for everybody, by the way. So that brings that vanity metrics, stop getting caught up in vanity metrics. That's a huge thing to keep in mind. So often we're addicted and it's like, well, how many people liked it and how many people did? Vanity metrics do not equal sales. Visibility does not equal sales. Conversations is what equals sales. So those are the things to keep in mind as you're creating this. It's like, I don't care if my views have dropped on my content. It's how many conversations are happening are people actually getting on my list and they're wanting to have conversations? Am I creating a hand raising post saying, hey, I've got this, this free lead magnet formula. Do you want it? And when people comment, those are the people you want to talk to. Or you do the same thing over on Instagram.
Yeah.
Conversations is what leads to sales.
Yeah. No, I
So
love
yeah,
that. I totally, totally love that. And I tend to be the same in my thinking as I'm like, if it's going to save you time and help you to post, then use a scheduling app. Don't get too caught up on it. Because if you don't use a scheduling app and that's going to stop you and be a barrier to you not posting the content, then use the app because at least the content's
right.
getting out there.
Yeah. And if you get to the point where you're getting busy enough, I've hired people off of Upwork. I've hired numerous freelancers for specific projects, and I've hired long-term freelancers anywhere from $5 to $10 an hour. So if you have a small budget, know that there's ways to hire really great people. You're just looking all over the world. You have to know how to vet them. But if you're to the point that you need help doing that, but also know, Simone, you've been doing this long enough, and I've been doing this long enough too, that I've hired people that have these great portfolios and then they're not creating great stuff. So it's like you have to have an awareness of what your strategy is. Don't rely on somebody else, or else you could go down the wrong road and end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of money to do that. So it goes back to keep it simple. Super important, but you got to give it time.
Yeah.
And also know buying cycles are longer. They're just longer now. The other thing that I think is a huge problem, I don't know if you experienced this when the pandemic hit. I decided, I've worked with coaches over the years, and I made a $20,000 investment to work with a coach at that time. It was crap. And I have talked to over 50 people who invested in the same thing that were so turned off by what was promised and what was delivered. And I think what happened is so many people got burned that people are stepping back. And then with the mini courses, like I'm getting ready to launch a micro membership, the mini memberships, which gets in line with my 5-year plan and what I'm wanting to do. Then there's a way that you can get great content, great support without having to spend a fortune. And I think so many people got burned. I don't know if you got burned. I got burned massively in that time frame when I wanted to shift. And I thought working with a coach is going to get me there faster. So know that right now, I think because some people have gotten burned, people are more skeptical. And you probably get DMs in your it all the time, like, buy my thing. It's like, I don't know you. Stop pitching.
Yes,
It's like,
exactly.
stop it. Just don't do
Yes.
that. But it goes back to, you got to know who your client is, where they're spending time, have a good strategy, make sure your foundations are in place. Is your message spot on? If they click, is a link broken? If it goes to your website, is it written in a way that it makes sense for them? And then are you using, like I said, blogs, emails, are you using that in conjunction with social so you can actually drive conversations?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love all of this and I really, really, really want to keep talking to you because it's so amazing, but I am conscious and very aware of like your time. So I would love to ask, what would be 3 top tips that you've got for people if they do want to increase their visibility and their discoverability?
So reduce, repurpose, and reuse. So part of that is, instead of trying to be all everywhere all the time doing all the things, pick 1 or 2 platforms where your audience is spending time, and then get really strategic about what you're doing. Don't overthink it. All too often, I think it has to be the super great. It's like, so you can reduce and get really strategic. Then reuse content that you've already got. Like I said, as we're going through shifting over to Notion, then I'm going in and clicking some of these folders going, I can reuse that video again. I can reuse it there and repurpose. I can take that and turn it into short form content. It's a longer video. So it's always that repurpose, but you have to have a system to put it in to make it easy to use, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love those tips. That is amazing. Thank you so much. And I would
You're
also
welcome.
love if you could share a resource that you think would benefit the audience. And normally I say to people, this can be a resource that's not yours, like a book or some sort of podcast or something, or it could be yours. I would obviously love for you to share your resources because I think your $7 Giphy course would be amazing. But what resources do you recommend for people when they're wanting to get that little bit more visibility and discoverability?
I was about to say the Gift Yourself Toolkit. It's $27. I've got it for $9. So if you want the Gift Yourself Toolkit, then that is it's a very unique way to get your name out there in a very different way. And we can include that in the show notes. And then I've got a visibility playbook that is a freebie that I've offered that gives you 5 different pieces that you need to do as far as getting yourself more visible, even if you're an introvert and you don't want to get on social media.
Ah, I love both of these. I will be using both of these. I love
Well,
this. And I will be linking to all of your details in the show notes for the podcast and the YouTube channel. But do you just want to run through where people can find you?
you can find me on social media at Joyce Layman. Years ago, I learned that lesson of go get your name as a domain name, go get your name on social so you can capture your online real estate. So Joyce Layman, I'm predominantly Facebook, Instagram. I do pop on to LinkedIn. I'm not there all the time. So if you send me an invitation to connect, customize it so I know that you heard me on the podcast. Otherwise, tag me in something, send me a DM. My email, my website's joycelayman.com. My YouTube, you can find me at Joyce Layman. That's my branded channel. So pretty much that's where I'm at. And if by chance you decide to use the Gift Yourself Toolkit, then tag me in that post because I want to be able to comment on it, share it, give you some love so we can boost your algorithm. We can kind of get
Ah,
that algorithm boosted and do that as well. So, yeah.
I love all of this. I love this. And guys, you guys are probably the same as me. You're probably just sitting here going, I wish we could talk for another hour. I wish we could talk for another hour. You're such a joy to talk to and be around. You're so vibrant and so on point with everything you know, and everything you're sharing is so many tips in here. Like, I hope everyone's been sitting with a pen and paper because this has been amazing.
I really appreciate that. I just like to tell people I've made all the mistakes and spent all the money in all the wrong places. And I don't ever want to do that. I have my client go through that experience. So that's why my job is to get you from here to there, as short as
Mm.
possible. And as things change, we can always learn from each other. So I really appreciate being on here. We didn't even get into the woo side of stuff
I
either,
know.
all that.
I know, but this was just so good.
Well,
Another
I
day.
love oh, absolutely. And I love what you do. And yes, I was about to say your tribe, when our people can find each other, that's the most important thing. So yes.
Yes, I love this. I love this so much. And thank you so, so much for being here today because it's been like literally a mind-blowing interview, but also an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much, Joyce. I've loved it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. So thanks so much.